Hey everyone. Yes, it's a bath time therapy session again. Just wanted to talk about friends healing. It's brilliant. I'm watching so many different friends of mine that are healing. It's great to watch. Doing old things that they've not done for a long time. Their passions that, unfortunately, with mental illness, stops you from doing. You know, like with me, with my artwork, it was my go-to thing to draw. It was my escape. And other people are like that with music and creativity and, whatever their passions are. When your mental health's bad, they seem to be the last thing on your mind, the worry, the anxiety and the panic attacks and the constant stress and fear that you're going through, that you're experiencing through trauma, through whatever's going on in your life. It could be work, could be relationships, could be friendships, it could be just the whole world in general, triggering you to go into this darkness. So when I see people picking up guitars again, or drum kits, or drawing, or creating, or just living their life again, going outside and looking after themselves and doing things, it's so amazing to see. It's funny because I know I've had friends there, but I've done this on my own. I have had support from certain friends, very much so, albeit at a distance when I've been poorly, when I've not been able to go out or contact anybody. They all know that I was battling with things, but I was moving forward. I wouldn't go online for ages. I wouldn't contact anybody for ages, but I was in my own little shell, in my own little protective little bubble, trying to sort my head out. And when you've not got any, I wouldn't say friends are interfering, but it's just having to deal with somebody else instead of dealing with your own thoughts and that. Because this is part of healing. The outside influence, good or bad, for me anyway, it didn't matter. It was still a terrifying aspect of being abused as a child. Fear, even from close friends and family, my own daughter, I couldn't even speak to her for a while. It was just certain things that was triggering me and I had to stay away. When you found, not everybody is as open as me with my mental health issues and how it affects me. So, there's a lot of people that don't even know what's going on. And there's a multitude of things going on, never judge a book by its cover, as they say, what's going on behind closed doors, nobody knows, so if you don't see somebody for a while, you don't hear from them for a while, then, they're either having the time of their life, or they could be just trying to heal and locked in a prison of darkness, it's both sides of the coin. But it's like you get people say, like with this Amber and Johnny trial, I keep calling it the Amber trial. To me it is, yeah. Johnny's one. It's just showing the world what the toxic personality can do. So, the Turd trials. But I forgot where I was going with that now. I'll get it. It'll come back. Yeah, there we go. It's come back. Talking about why people don't speak up about mental illness and abuse. Because to me it goes hand in hand, mental illness and abuse, very much so. Obviously you get you get it in your genes as well. You can have certain genes that makes you more susceptible to being a narcissist or whatever. And there's also the birth defects, and there's accidents, brain damage and things like that, which just can't be helped. But the majority of mental illness, I believe, comes from abuse, and not just historic abuse. From when you was a child, it can happen. Abuse can happen to you at any time in your life, and the prolonged exposure to it can definitely trigger, even in somebody that's never had mental health issues, can definitely trigger people into depression. The brain starts shutting down because of the stress. it's just the cycle of what stress does. It's how your brain reacts to stress. It releases a hormone and your brain shuts down certain parts. You go into survival mode, a bit like we all have through this pandemic. You know, it's people that have never suffered with any sort of mental health issues are suddenly going through depression because they can't live their lives. You know, and it's basically the same as what's happening when you're trapped in a toxic relationship. You know, you're being told what to do, where you can do, what you can do, who you can see, you know, who you can't see, you know, while they're doing whatever the fuck they want to. You know, this is, you know, the government with Boris Johnson and all these parties and things like that, and all these MPs going places when, you know, the country was in lockdown. One rule for them and one rule for us. It's exactly the same as having a narcissistic partner telling you who you can see, where you can go, how much money you can have, you know. No, you can't go and do this. You stay here while I go out and do what the fuck I want, like, no. My husband was very much like that, or my ex-husband, should I say. He was very controlling in who I could see, where I could go, what I could do, the money. He wasn't so bothered about what I could wear, but where I could work and things like that. Even the activities, you know, I wanted to learn scuba diving, and there was a free lesson up at the local swimming pool, and I was like, oh yeah, I'd love to do that. And if instant put down, what do you want to do that for? I've done it, it's crap, you know, so I never done it, you know, just to please him, keep the peace. It's the same as driving, you know. Oh, what do you want to drive for? I can drive you anywhere you want to go. Well, it'd be nice to be able to, you know, when you're working, to have my own transport and think, oh no, I can do that, you know. It's little things like that. There was no encouragement of things like that. That sort of thing, it stops you feeling as though you got any confidence in yourself. Because you think that you're the problem, you know. You don't talk to anybody else about it because, you know, for starters, you know it's going to cause problems if anybody else is drawn into this relationship that you've got with a toxic person. Even in a toxic family, you know, you can't tell your friends. I mean, your friends see it. There's my mate Kai, you know, I've grown up with her since primary school. And it was only a few years ago that I was asking her about certain things, and the amount that she knew and that she understood, it made me cry. It really did. I'm welling up now, like, you know, just that she could understand. Even with the mental illnesses, she understood, and it was heartwarming. Just that somebody that I was so close to growing up actually did see what was going on. Yeah, Kai, love you to bits. Always have done. But you know, there's other people that you know will talk to me now, and you know they do notice it. But when it comes to the family, they know obviously that they're not going to say this went on, that went on. They're protecting their own backs. But it's, you try and come forward. You try and tell these people these things, and you get ignored, or you get told that you're a liar. Or you get forced, like when I was a kid, trying to talk. If my Uncle Stephen was to hurt me or anything like that, he'd shout above me. He'd scream louder than me, you know, la 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 la. I was only I was 10, he was 10 years older than me. And I'm thinking back about 4 or 5 years old. And obviously my brain will only let me think about certain things. So, you know, there's got to be times before that as well, you know. There's a build up to it. And you learn very fast not to talk to anyone, because they don't believe you, and this is why you don't come forward. And when you're trapped in a relationship like that, it's the same sort of thing, especially for a man. You know, women are bad enough anyway, you know. Well, I have been, you know, been battered to keep quiet, you know. So you don't speak up. I was even afraid of the police, you know, because I used to have that threatened with me. Oh, if you don't tell me the truth, the police are coming, you know. So even if I was telling the truth, the police are coming to take me away, you know. I'm going to get locked up. And this is talking to a little child. So yeah, I grew up fearful of the police. Even to this day, you know. I'll tell you about an incident later on, but this is something else at the moment. But yeah, you're fearful of coming forward and talking to people, especially when you've not been believed, because you think it's just going to happen again. And I've had this from my grand. Well, why didn't you come and tell me? I know for a fact that I had tried over the years. And I know for a fact that if I told her, I would have been told that I was a liar. I would have been beaten. I would have been sent to bed, grounded. You know, all the usual things like stop being a little liar and things like that. Why didn't you come and tell me? And yeah, that's exactly why I didn't come and tell you, because I would have been battered and been told I was a liar, like you still think I am. You know, it's just a form of control. And I know this now. I know my past. I know what I can remember. And what they say is just their opinion. It's not truth. I know my truth. I always will do. I always have done. You know, whether they say it's right or not. I know my truth. And you do get battered down when you do try and tell your truth. And this is why people don't come forward. And for a man to come forward to say that his wife's been beating him, or his mother's been beating him, grow a pair of bollocks, lad, fucking stop crying, he gets put down then. So he gets made to feel like he's weak, and he's not. The most strongest, bravest thing that anyone can do, man or woman, is to walk away from toxic people. They want to keep you in that frame of mind that they're the best thing since sliced bread and you won't get anything better. And if you do walk away, then this is going to happen, that's going to happen, I'm going to drag your name through this, that and the other. And this is what they do. They involve your friends, they involve your family, they involve the law, they involve the courts. It's not just Johnny and Amber, because they're high profile people. It happens all over the world, to many couples, same relationship, same sex couples. It doesn't matter, and it happens through governments to the people, to society. It happens through all other countries as well. There's some toxic person at the top telling everybody what they can and can't do, and when they don't do it right, then they get put in prison. But they leave us to fight in between ourselves, a bit like sibling rivalry. You've got your narcissist at the top that will have its favourite, that will I can't say show love because they don't show love, but will show favouritism too. So all the rest of them are wondering what the hell they've done wrong. So, first of all, all right, well, I'm going to start doing this. I'll do this better. I'll do this better. And then they start fighting. Well, mine's better than yours. Mine better. Oh, well, it just snowballs. And it's the same in society, Some people are given this for nothing, and then the rest of us have to fight and work to death to gain just what this one person's had, privileged, That's what society is about. You get put into your ranks. You've got your upper class, you've got your middle class, and then you've got your lower class. In England, you do anyway, People that are on benefits, that's the lower class. People who are working, that's the working class, middle class, and then you've got the upper class, the ones that are born with a silver spoon in their mouths, Mummy and Daddy's fortune has been passed on. I've been to Eton, I've learned how to be a toxic person, and all these toxic factions that train us how to control the poor people or the people beneath us. But even in religion, apparently everybody's equal in the eyes of the Lord. So where does equality come into? Christianity, all the rest of them, I can't think of the rest of them for the moment. Catholics and Protestants, where's it all come from? All this arguing and bickering over the same things. It's like 10 Commandments, thou shalt not kill, They seem to twist that fact for wars. All these countries that do abide by thou shalt not kill, and the Christianity and the law and the Bible and all this. They seem to pick and choose what to do. It's no, you just thou shalt not kill. Only if we're doing it in the name of war, like protecting our country. No, thou shalt not kill. You don't bend the rules. It's like governments putting little legislations into to laws and things like that, you know, changing little things and adding bits and bobs and taking bits and bobs away, you know. No, thou shalt not kill. That means do not take another person's life in any circumstances. Yeah, it just doesn't compute with me. My brain just can't work that one out, you know, and it's the same with everybody's equal in the eyes of the Lord, you know, but only if you're not gay, or only if you're not black, or only if you're not white, or only if you're not whatever, you know. It's I can't think. It's mind-boggling. It really is. But we wonder why people don't speak up. Because we're trodden down when we do. We don't have a voice. I mean, there's freedom of speech in this country, but no, it's all getting taken away from us. But things are changing gradually. I think the more that people recognise toxic behaviour, especially through their own circumstances, the more that they'll realise what's going on. And the more people will stand up against all these toxic factions that are running this world and making it a horrible place to live in. I mean, we've got enough money, we've got enough resources to solve all our problems. We just seem to be going backwards because it's all involved with money and power. We're just kept in that state of survival of the fittest at the moment, really. With everything, with the prices going up on everything, fuel, food, you know, just daily living, they're taking more and more and more. You know, in a toxic relationship, there is that breaking point. There is that breaking point where you realise what's going on and you've had enough. And you fight back, a bit like what Johnny's done. But you blow up. You completely blow up. You lose a plot. Your head just shuts down and the fight mode kicks in. It is like a separate personality. Because I have a fight mode. I don't like it. It scares me. It really does scare me. But she only comes out when she really needs to. Or when I've had lots of alcohol, and that's not good. This is why I don't drink anymore. It's a bad trigger. I've done things that I never thought I would do. If I was sober, I never would have, you know. That's how far I've gone. That's how much it affects me. And that's why I won't touch it. It's very scary, very scary. But I know there's a lot of people that don't see that happening. They can't make the connection between the kick-offs and how they are with alcohol. It's only until you sit back and you analyse yourself and you analyse the situation that you're in at the time and put the dots together, you know. That's what you have to do, you know. Why the hell did I kick off like this? What made me drink in the first place, you know? I mean, obviously you have your fun times and things like that, yeah, but then if it goes bad, then there's something there that's triggered that to go bad. And it's going back over it. Obviously, when you've had a lot to drink, sometimes you can't go back over it. But you can in the real world, you know, what pisses you off on a daily basis, or who pisses you off on a daily basis? Why do you feel bad? Why do you feel depressed? What's going on around you just from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to sleep? What's in your life? And then you try and connect it to how you're feeling. Okay, so this has gone on, and that's made me feel like this. This is a bad feeling. I don't like to feel like this. What can I do to make it better? That's the sort of process that you have to go through to move forward and to heal, part of the healing process. Especially with childhood issues, there's a lot of even just silly things that you would never think of. I mean, I talk to my inner child, I talk to myself, because of what I've been through. I have separate personalities. It's still me, but just at different ages. I've got like a Pinky, which is me when I was sort of like, from when I can remember up till about 5, maybe a bit older. She's a terrified child, toddler that I talk to, she's the one that brings up the panic attacks. When I hear arguing or think somebody's in pain or something like that, she comes forward very, very quickly, and a lot of terror. I mean, like I was saying about the Creamfield incident, I didn't even have to see it, I just heard it. But it could be things on TV, you know, the news, that can trigger it. Even films, you know, if it's too to real life, it can trigger, very much so. For instance, I can't watch the Saw films because that's just too real to reality, too true to life. So it could happen, you know. It's I've not been too bad with some horror films and things because I know it's horror, but when it comes to psychological things and torture and things, yeah, no, I can't cope with that. My brain sees it as it's happening to me. So you know, this is what part of the abuse does to you, and being an empath, being able to feel what other people are going through. So yeah, when I hear or see somebody going through something horrible, some sort of pain, I feel it myself. I feel as though it's happening to me, and I will get sick, I will throw up, I will pass out, you know. It's my reaction. It's like I'm living whatever's happening to them, to their their trauma. So that's why I try and stay away from that sort of thing. It took me a while to realise this, but once you realise what things trigger you, you can walk away from them quite easily. Especially if you want to heal, you know, because at the end of the day, all these doctors and all these pills can, you know, you can have them till you're blue in the face, but the only way to move forward is for you to do it yourself. Nobody can just go in your brain and go blah, blah, blah. You have to do it yourself. You have to look into those darknesses, realise what they are, realise why they were put there, why you do things, why you can't do things, you know. You have to understand that side of you. And once you do, then you can start working on your environment. Well, this makes me feel good, so I'll stay around this, you know. This makes me feel like shit, so I'm not going to go back to that at all, you know. It's as simple as that. But the only person that can do it is you. Nobody came, well, they tried to come to my rescue, but at the end of the day, nobody can take you away from that environment but yourself. You know, if you're trapped in a bad partnership, a toxic family, don't feel guilty for walking away. They don't feel guilty for the harm that they're causing to you. So really, they don't care. For me, what I did, I looked at people, and I thought, right, with everything I know about somebody right now, after all these years of knowing them, if I was walking down the street and I'd never met them before, would I stop to say hello, or would I walk past? You know, would I keep moving, you know, walking forward? And the ones that I'll say, oh yeah, I'd like to stop and talk to them again, you know, keep them as your friends. But the ones that you'd walk past, those are the ones that you treat like strangers. You block them in all aspects, every way, shape and form, because they bring on triggers. I mean, now I can't say that I'm healed because certain triggers I've stayed away from, so I don't know if I have healed from them. So I'd have to go into that sort of situation again to see how I'd react. I mean, I don't really want to put myself into those situations, so if it happens, it happens, you know. I know I'm more aware of how to get out of the situation now. It's like a relationship or things like that, you know. I know how to spot the warning signs, the red flags, and I'll back away. You know, I've been stuck in a relationship for 10 years with my ex-husband, you know, when I should have backed away in the first few weeks that I knew him. Just the signs over and over the years, you know, but I never knew any different. I couldn't recognise it. I didn't know what the hell was going on, but now I do. I can go, oh, right, yeah. And I've done this before. Oh, yeah, no, sorry. Yeah, back away rather quickly and block all contact. That's the way I deal with things now. But even with good friends, I've had to block some of them because they're either in toxic relationships and that affects me, or they have toxic friends and things like that, and even that affects me, because I can see it all going on and it's hurting the person that I care about. Whether they can see it or not, I don't know. Obviously, if they know me, they know what I've gone through, so I've talked about this to many of my friends and things like that. So, you know, they do know certain things and certain things that I know, so I will point out certain things about certain people. But it's for that individual to recognise it and to see it in themselves, because you can tell them till you're blue in the face and they just think you're interfering, you know, trying to wreck relationships and things like that, when in all honesty, it's the relationship that they're in that's wrecking it, that's making them stressed out. But until they recognise that and see it for themselves, then unfortunately, they don't know what's going on, and they're living in a personal hell, and they're getting iller and iller and iller every day. You know, the more it goes on, your brain just shuts down more and more, and you develop longer term mental illnesses, or develop different ones, you know, if it's not sorted out. But then you've got all what you feel to escape is you feel shame. Oh, it's my fault, I've done this, I've done that. This is why you don't go and get help. This is why you don't talk to people about it. Oh, well, I won't contact the police because after all, I blew up, you know, after many years of being mentally tortured, you know, that's how it gets twisted, you know. One single blow up after years of abuse, it's just the straw that broke the camel's back, as they say, you know. It's a build up of things until you explode. But then that gets used as, oh, this is who you are, you're a nasty person, you're violent, you're a pisshead, you're a druggie, you know. No, there's just the long history of things before this happens. But yeah, so I hear people, why didn't they walk away? Why didn't they tell us? You know, that's why it's like I say, you're in your own prison. It's so difficult to be able to come forward, and especially for a man, because of the ridicule from other men and other women, you know. So yeah, a multitude of reasons. So if anybody's in doubt, that's why. So I shall leave the video there now. I've waffled on for quite enough, and I think it's about time I washed my hair and finished off my bath. So I shall say goodbye, and thank you very much for watching, sharing, subscribing, liking, commenting, everything. It's amazing. Stay safe and love you all. Bye bye.